Hey everyone, it's Lisa from the blog farmhouseonboone.com, and today I want to share with you 5 healthy summer meal ideas. So this is going to be one of my what we eat in a week videos. I've done these before and I've had a ton of requests for more, but because of the nature of these videos and how difficult they are to make, getting my camera out during mealtime, naturally I put it off, but I'm going to try to start doing it a little bit more often. I will leave links in the description below for all my other what we eat in a week videos in case you want to see some more dinner ideas, some lunch ideas, and I even did one for breakfast. Again, let me know in the comments if you really enjoy these. I'm gonna need quite a bit of encouragement to keep doing them because I'm telling you, they're difficult. However, I know that they're helpful because it's really nice to take a peek into other families and just see what it is that they make, get some new ideas, some fresh perspective. I love watching those because I find that I like to make the same things over and over. Usually I put a little spin on things with the season, so if it's summer, I'm gonna add a ton of fresh herbs, tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, all of those fresh greens and ingredients that you can access so easily at local farmers markets or in your own garden. And then in the winter time, you know, it'll center more around those heartier root vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, and some of the squashes like pumpkin and acorn squash, butternut squash. So that is typically how it flows. So I'm usually just kind of creating a variation of meat and vegetables and fruits, kind of what we focus on. I do throw in some grains with sourdough, as you all know if you follow along with me, but it will definitely kind of ebb and flow with the seasons. And I don't love making recipes. I'm more of a throw it together kind of girl. So I try hard on my blog to come up with actual recipes for you guys because I know that some of you really love that. And some of you just like to see how I throw things together. So this post is also gonna be on the blog. I'm gonna have everything written out with the ingredients and the approximate measurements so that you can make these in your own family. Maybe save them to Pinterest so that you can revisit them if you have a board where you like to sort of get those seasonal ideas and meal planning. Okay, and with these lunch ideas, I do wanna point out that if you are an on-the-go person, we are not. My husband and I both work this blog full time, and so we're home 3 times a day for meals. But if you're on the go person, you can make some of my sourdough English muffins, sourdough bread, sourdough tortillas, and throw any of these things into those to make it more mobile. Now also in my meals, I like to keep similar themes. So if one week, say I bought a pack of lemons, then I'll want to put lemons in most everything for the week. Or if there was a bunch of zucchini at the farmer's market or cucumber, there will be cucumber, zucchini, avocados, fresh cilantro, lemon in everything, so that way I can use up those ingredients. They all brighten the flavor, have kind of a similar feel to them so that you can add them to similar meals. I've also mentioned this before, but some of my favorite side dishes that require no pre-planning is sauerkraut, which that of course required pre-planning long before that time, but it's then always available in the fridge. So if you make up a huge batch of sauerkraut, you can pull it out with every meal, or pickles, another thing my kids love, fermented. You make it once and then you can constantly pull it out with each meal and not have to think, okay, what side dish am I gonna make that I have to actually cook and prepare. So fermented vegetables and ripe avocado are side dishes that happen with almost all meals because they're so easy. All you do is cut up the avocado, pull the fermented vegetables out of the fridge, and then you have something to kind of bulk up a meal if, say, you'd only thought of the main dish. And then in the summer and spring, fresh salad can go with everything. Okay, so for the first day, I started by putting a whole chicken in the Instant Pot. Now I will put this in for 90 minutes if it's frozen, 60 minutes if it is thawed, with a cup of water on high pressure. Then I'll just let it go. So if we're gonna be out for the morning, it'll flip to the warm setting. That's totally fine. Sometimes I'll be using it right away, just depending. Now I mentioned to you in a recent video, we love chicken salad and we do a lot of different variations. So this time we did more of a Southwest chicken salad. So I used some fresh bell peppers and some red onions. Now for the kids, if you chop them really, really tiny, so I chop them just as tiny as I possibly can, once it's all mixed together, if your kids are a little bit squeamish of onions, because my kids, they like certain vegetables, especially cooked, Raw onions is sometimes where they draw the line, but I can tell you that they did not pick around them this time because they were super small. Avocados, I added in a little bit of fresh cilantro, garlic powder, salt, some homemade avocado mayo. So I showed you how to do this in a recent tutorial. Super easy to make it all in a mason jar with an immersion blender. I've never had a batch not work out. So it's just one of those things you can whip it up right before a meal and not even, waste time getting food on the table. And then I add some crumbled bacon. Now I'll reserve the rest of the bacon because I only used a partial of that package for later in the week with another recipe, and then also throughout the week to throw in some eggs in the morning to make breakfast just a little bit more tasty. Now I served these on top of some of my sourdough English muffins. I do have a bread recipe. However, I almost always go for the English muffins. They're just so much faster. All you have to do is think about them the night before, whereas with the bread, it needs a few days to first proof and then rise, and I'm never that much of a planner. So if you're not a planner like me, you might use English muffins for your sandwiches, and it was a delicious sandwich. Now for the side, as I often do, I served it with some fresh greens and topped it with a homemade honey mustard dressing. Now for the dressing, I just use equal-ish parts of mayo, mustard, and then not quite equal parts of honey. I also add a drop of lemon essential oil. It just gives it sort of a bright flavor, and then some salt and pepper and a little bit of garlic powder. I do have one on the blog. I'll link it below if you want the exact measurements. Super easy dressing. We whip it up right before mealtime all the time. Kids love it. We love it. It's perfect. All right, now after cooking that whole chicken, did not clean the Instant Pot. I just added some more bones from the freezer and then the bones from that chicken right directly back to it. Now, whenever I make broth, I like to do it right after making a chicken so that there's less washing involved. You make a chicken, pull it out, get all the chicken off the bones, and then put the bones back in, and then whatever other bones that you'd reserved, fill it with filtered water, and you can make bone broth right there in your Instant Pot, which you can use for a later meal that week. You can make some soup. All right, day 2, I cooked some salmon in a glass baking dish on 400 degrees for 15 minutes. Just sprinkled it with some salt and avocado oil and lemon juice. Now I like to use avocado oil or butter in baking just because they have a higher smoke point than olive oil. I also use coconut oil. For fish, I don't really love coconut oil with it, so I just use avocado oil. And then I topped it with some lemon dill yogurt sauce. Now basically what I do for that is mix together some plain yogurt, salt, pepper, garlic powder, lemon juice, chopped fresh dill, or if you don't have access to that, you could also just use the dried herb, chopped up cucumbers. Again, the key, if you're wanting your kids to eat this and they're not huge cucumber fans, is to chop them as small as possible. Makes a delicious sauce for fish. It kind of jazzes things up. This is something I used to make all the time and kind of completely forgot about it. Recently, I thought of it again, and the kids had forgotten about it too. It was one of those things that it's just been that long, and I'm glad to have it back in the rotation. Okay, night 3, this is something that I just kind of whipped up. Hadn't really given it any thought before. My daughter actually was the one who had the main idea for it. One night I was gonna make meatloaf. She's like, let's do something Mexican. So usually when we do that, we will just cut up some onions, peppers, saute them. Then I cook some ground beef and add in minced garlic. Now I like to add in minced garlic while the beef is actually cooking. That way the garlic doesn't burn. I find that whenever you try to saute garlic with other veggies in just a butter or something and there's no moisture content, they get really crispy and burned, and then the kids can crunch down on garlic and they don't like that so much. So I put minced garlic in while cooking beef before it's fully cooked. That way it flavors the whole thing. I add salt and pepper and it makes some very delicious beef. A lot of times I'll throw in some fresh lime juice. There's limes on hand, or lemon. Either citrus really accents that flavor. And then I cooked on the side some peeled, diced sweet potatoes in coconut oil. Now with my crispy potatoes in the cast iron skillet, all the rules are different than with sweet potatoes. I find that sweet potatoes just want to burn if you cook them the same way as you cook regular potatoes. They don't really get crispy. Now you can correct me if you found a way to do that. I personally have not, so usually I'll just throw the lid on and allow them just to get soft. They do not get crispy. But the kids love them. Usually we just throw sweet potatoes straight in the oven and have baked sweet potatoes, but every once in a while do a little bit of extra effort because it just is so tasty, especially with a dish like this. Now my husband and I for this meal, we put a bed of lettuce down with some of the homemade honey mustard that again I'm gonna be using all throughout the week so that I can use that up, a theme that I'm carrying throughout. Added the beef, the onions, the peppers, and the sweet potatoes on top, and then some fresh avocado and sauerkraut, and made it a salad. Now the kids, they do not like that kind of food combining. They eat the beef, the sweet potatoes, a side of salad, a side of sauerkraut. Totally fine. I like those kind of meals where the kids have an option, so that way, you know, you can kind of deal with the picky eaters if they don't like a big salad, which most kids don't. They can do it that way. All right, now day 4, we did a tuna salad. This is something that honestly, we have burnt ourselves out on. Whenever I first found this recipe, I actually found this recipe on a different blog. I was trying to incorporate more fish in my family's diet, so I was searching for some tuna salad ideas, and I came across this one. Well, when we found it, we made it like way too many times in a row, and we're burnt out. However, I did want to show it to you guys because we did love it for so long, and my kids did eat it again, but we probably won't be visiting it again for a while. I used the Wild Planet tuna. So I did a little research, was looking for the best brand, made sure there wasn't any BPA in the liner and all that kind of stuff. This is what I found, and so I've been ordering it off of Amazon by the 12 pack. I will leave a link in the description below to the one that I found to be the best price and the best tuna. And mixed it up with some cilantro, fresh lemon juice, olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, avocado, red onion, and cucumber. It's a very light dish. You can serve it alongside some fresh fruit, and it's a great thing to whip up if you've been out of the house all day and you have nothing planned. You can pull that canned tuna right out of the pantry and just start throwing together all the ingredients. I've definitely made it to where we didn't have all the ingredients on hand, so I've thrown celery in place of the cucumber, so that it kind of adds that fresh ingredient when we didn't have that. I've added lime juice instead of lemon. You know, a citrus still works. You can definitely play around with it, but it's very fresh and light. Again, it might taste delicious on a sourdough English muffin or sourdough tortilla if you want a cold lunch to bring on the go, but it's really delicious. Just don't make it every day for several weeks, and your kids might like it for a little bit longer than my kids did. And day 5, this will not feel like a summer meal. It is not a summer meal, it is soup. However, we like to keep consuming homemade bone broth even through the summer months. And this is just the best way to get it done because there's a lot of recipes. You could cook some quinoa in broth, but you just don't end up using up the amount that you end up getting from all the chicken bones. Recently, I started coming up with this idea of making a creamy chicken soup. So basically I make my usual chicken soup, which is all the veggies, carrots, celery, onions, fresh garlic, fresh herbs, and frozen green beans, simmered in that homemade bone broth. And once it's all cooked and everything's nice and soft, at the very end, I add in the chicken from earlier in the week with the chicken salad. Let it cook a little bit longer, add in some salt and pepper, maybe some more fresh herbs, and then I stir in a bunch of sour cream and shredded cheddar cheese, and then top it with a little bit of crumbled bacon. So this definitely makes it a little bit more decadent and palatable. If your kids don't love bone broth, they will devour this. Now, of course, if you want to make it a little bit lighter, you could leave out the sour cream, the cheese, and the bacon. But my kids absolutely devour it whenever I make it this way. They eat tons of vegetables, tons of bone broth, and at least those ending ingredients like the sour cream and the cheese, they kind of cool down that broth. So I'll pull this piping hot pot off of the stove, and then I'll plate it up to each kid and then stir in a whole bunch of sour cream and cheese, and then it's a little bit cooler. Now a lot of times too, we'll top it with some fresh avocado. Once it's a little bit cooler yet, you could also throw on some sauerkraut. Now you don't really want to cook the sauerkraut, so you might want to wait till it cools a bit, but it is delicious, and you could serve it next to a salad if you want to do kind of the soup and salad lunch theme. So good. I mean, it is one of our favorite meals. Usually if it's in the middle of summer, we haven't had to turn the air conditioner on just yet because it's been nice and cool, but if it's in the middle of summer, you can crank that AC up, get the temperature down, and just feast on some soup. Definitely done that last summer. I remember doing that in August. Like, okay guys, I'm gonna turn it down to 70 because usually we keep it closer to 78 and we can have some soup and not sweat to death. All right, well there it is, 5 healthy summer meal ideas. I hope these were helpful for you. Again, visit the blog if you wanna save some of these recipes and keep them in your recipe database, however you stay organized, I'm not sure. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to make more of these. I really hoped and planned to, and getting the camera out during meal times isn't the most fun, but I know it's helpful, and I'm always glad once I get these kind of videos done. All right, well, if you are brand new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. I make 2 new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home. Thank you so much for stopping by the farmhouse.